Hello, hello. How are you today? I hope you're well. Intense times, lots to discuss today. So on the weekend, I did a post about my cousin's wedding and what I felt and how I didn't feel I fit in anymore. And I've had a lot more time to integrate it, and I saw a lot of beautiful souls coming back saying they deeply resonated. So I wanted to talk about the inner awareness and knowledge that came up as I processed that, and I saw the beautiful responses about what our role is. If you're listening to this, more than likely you're a light worker. You're going through a journey that is intense and different from probably everybody around you that you see. Our role as light workers, we're placed around the planet strategically, sowed into the soil of whatever city you're in, wherever you are, with people around you, etc., strategically to help with the awakening. And that role is going to become very important here very soon. So think of the whole planet as maybe darkness. There's been a lot of darkness and control and other things going on. And then at this time and place, you as a soul, and more than likely you're an advanced soul. I'm not saying anybody's better than anybody else, but you've been around a long time. You've seen a lot of different experiences, and you came here to be planted through your parents into the place you are. So think of a planet that is getting these little specks of light inserted in it at different grid points all around the planet. And what my awareness inside is that I was born with the gifts that were needed, with the fertilizer, with the awareness, the knowledge, etc., that when the right time and place came, I would activate as a seed or as a light or a lighthouse or whatever, and have my own experience through what's going on. I would be firmly aware of all the control, all the darkness, all the untruth, etc. And I'm like a distillery, or we as light workers are like a distillery. We start to process what's being received from the collective consciousness, and then we're distilling it. So you can look at that as like alcohol, where you're making it pure, or you're distilling it to take the impurities out. So you're processing everything that's societal knowledge, societal beliefs, societal conditioning, etc., and you're taking out what is not pure. So all the tests we're going through, all the people that tell us we're wrong or whatever, is encouraging us to distill out a truth that's underneath that other people don't believe, and they feel safe because they believe something else that maybe isn't true. And that's why we're not fitting in. We're distilling things, seeing what feels right in our heart and what feels not, and we're becoming a purified awareness. And that as we purify that awareness, the light gets brighter inside of us. We become that seed that we are, starts to take roots into exactly where we are. And just think of things like weeds and dandelions are being thrown at us all around to try and choke us out, to get us to stop, to make us stop blooming. And that's the darkness, the people around us, the NPCs, some people call them non-player characters, the souls that have just descended so deep that darkness is working through them, and they're really not in conscious awareness or control of their experience anymore. So we are this flower that's growing in the middle of all this darkness, misinformation, whatever you want to call it, just buried with shit. and we are rising up. Our heads are popping out, like the top of our flower is popping out of the soil, and we're ready to receive the true light. And then it goes into our root system. It goes into the soil. It chokes back the weeds. It changes everything. So the reason we're getting attacked, the reason we have to feel small, just think of yourself as a little seed that's just getting attacked from all corners, because the darkness doesn't want to lose control. It doesn't want to have the truth come out, because it will immediately and rapidly lose power and control over people. So now we're rapidly approaching the point when all this starts to burst through. So we're all sticking our heads out, trying to figure out, are we in a garden or are we on the side of a cliff by ourselves or whatever? And beautiful things like these posts are drawing a community together, of people that are having the same experience, which is only like 0.1% of the population of the world, but they're having a common experience. They're having the same desires. They're not fitting in. They're not seeing the old reality serving anymore. And our very presence breaks down that wall. Like, think of a big rock that's been there for 1,000 years, and then this little plant starts to root in it, and that rock will be split in half, and it'll start to turn to gravel over time. That's what our role is. So now, as the truth is starting to pop up, we can't be the full bearer of the truth. There's a bigger plan, there's a bigger thing that's going on, so we can only create our own reality around us. And then the bigger piece is part of the collective awakening. It's been designed into the whole process. There's a very well articulated plan with timings that rely on factors that are outside of ourselves. So that's why we don't have an exact time. But there's going to be a point when the truth is crazy upon us, and things are going to start going sideways, and those people that have had their head planted in the sand are going to freak out, and they're going to be scared. Like, they're scared already, and they're starting to poke, and they're starting to cause pain and suffering around them, but it's part of their awakening. Their whole foundation, their whole truth is becoming smashed, and that's terrifying. So by holding the light in this certain area, we will keep people from completely going insane or falling out or killing themselves or whatever, when the intensity gets so strong. And as light leaders or as light workers, we're just going to speak to them. We're going to talk to them. You don't have to be anything special talking to millions of people or whatever. Just talk to the friends that are around you. The people, you've been planted so squarely in the perfect position, and when their reality starts to break down, they're going to start looking for a new reality to connect to. And we're distilling that, we're creating that within ourselves, and they're going to come and ask at some point when things get real and they don't know where to go and they think they're going insane. They're going to go to the only person, the concrete lighthouse that you've grown into being. And you will create little communities of people that you can serve, you can feed, you can help pull them out of the water and get them into a lifeboat of a new reality, and begin to connect those people and start to I see Robert saying 2030, but there is no time and date. I think it's far sooner than that, but everybody that wants to have a date, you can have a date. There's going to be multiple timelines that are going to work for people. But there's different waves that are going to happen right now. I'm talking about the first wave. I'm talking about a group of people that are going to anchor a first stage, because not everybody can awaken at the same time. Most people, to destroy their foundation, destroy their rock, is going to be hard. And then there's going to be years of integration and other things. And each different wave, everybody's got a chance to awaken. There isn't anybody that isn't allowed to, or isn't part of the plan, or isn't anything. Everybody's going to get a chance, but this first wave is going to be pretty shocking. can you imagine our legal systems and laws and government and stuff all being distorted and broken down, and we start to see the truth under them? There's going to be a long period of time where new structures are going to have to be put in place. There's going to be times where things are going to be locked down until people kind of calm down and become aware. And these first layer of light workers that I'm speaking to here is, we're going to hold an anchor point. We're going to, like, when people get, I don't know how many people know, but a drowning person will grab on and drown another person because they have no conscious awareness of what's going on. So we're building a spot where we don't have to be the rescuer and get pulled down. We're building a lighthouse, an anchored spot, a lifeboat that people will be able to climb into. They'll be able to ask you questions. They'll be able to seek from your knowledge. They'll be able to ask questions and start to open. And then as that community builds, everybody's going to each have a little piece of knowledge, of awareness. Everybody's going to have a gift that they bring to the table as we start to reconstruct a world that's gone a little bit crazy. And we are an integral part of that. We've been born and brought the gifts and have the power to help a whole bunch of people wake up. Well, it's their choice, but we need these key people, and you've been tested like fire all day long, and I know how hard it's been, and everybody wants to call question to you. It's okay to keep your head down right now, but when shit gets real, the fact that people know that you have a different awareness, they're going to flock to us, and they're going to need that safety point, and you'll guide them back to a new collective awareness, a new reality that's shared with people, but no longer has the control, no longer has the darkness in it, or the technologies will all be shut down that keep us confused. So that fact that we're not fitting in means we're already aligned with that new reality. The fact that we want to talk about stuff and have different filters and all this kind of stuff is a clear recognition that you're on a path to aid the rest of humanity around you. A lot of people weren't ready to wake up, or weren't ready to have this happen, but it's got to a collective level that the collective momentum now says that it can't maintain what was. And honestly, if the darkness continued the way it was, the whole reality would have collapsed. It would have turned into a black hole because there was so much imbalance. So now we're turning back into the balance. We're finding our yin and we're finding the yang, and we're doing better. We're a conduit. I feel the less and less I try and be a human or fit into this reality, the more and more the hollow bone that is me allows the bigger plan, even though I don't know what the plan is or when it's going to work or how it's going to go. All I know is I have the faith that the right knowledge, the right resources, the right people, everything will start to show up. And there's a real calm in that place. It's not like, oh, I see a new reality and my dreams are coming true and everything's great. It's like those things can't exist until we've moved off this timeline and moved into a higher awareness timeline. There'll be a higher vibration. There'll be a fair change that's going to happen. And we're going to see it first, and we're going to be the bridge. Some people call about the rainbow warriors and the rainbow bridge and all that kind of stuff. That brings up a picture of me where people are in this reality that we're existing in right now, and they're lost and they're trying to escape. It's like going to the lifeboat. We're going to stand there with one foot on either side, one on the reality and one on the other side, and just grab people's hands and start to pull them across that bridge so that they're making a choice. It's like, okay, am I going to stay here and ride this to the end to see how that comes out, or am I going to step up and rise up? And we're the ones, call it the lifeboat captains, whatever. There's nothing special about it because it's been dirty work, etc. Doesn't make us better than anyone, but it's a gift by our surrender of the old self that gives us awareness of new possibility. And then we're the example of that. We're the vibration of it, and we're sharing it with those people that are scared and worried, and just being that calm and that faith that everything's going to work out. And as soon as you kind of pull them into the lifeboat, or pull them into the community that you're building, or that conscious group around you, they're going to find more that are ready for something new. And then the spark of new possibility of how do we build leadership with transparency? How do we create a community and feed ourselves, and stop worrying on big corporations or control and all this kind of stuff, and start serving and feeding ourselves, so we can be self-sufficient and not have to worry about prices and money and all these things. We just start to begin to be the example of something new, and you all feel it inside. We have the seeds, we have the awareness. I've been seeing about how to resolve conflict for the last 5 years of my life, and going through it in my mind, and how do I rub this against, and do we need a legal system, do we need lawyers, do we need police, do we need armies, etc. And once we start looking at the trauma that's in each individual, and we start healing ourselves individually, those big collective traumas heal and go away, and then there's no need for struggle, or there's no need for anybody to be bigger or better. We're just all equal, having the most amazing experience we have. So some of those things are all seeds that are built in you, and in every place and in every community, all the right people are going to show up. We're just going to need to speak the truth. We don't want to get derailed or get angry or scared. We want to be that rock for people, so that they have a place when things get scary, get complicated, get worrisome. So step over there, try it, see that bigger role, and see why what's going on here right now doesn't want us to be shown, doesn't want us to be successful in that, because that would mean that it would be the end of what they are, and that's not serving anyone. We need to stand in our integrity, stand in our truth, stand in our love, and be that vibration for people when shit goes sideways, and calmly talk. And that's why I'm explaining it here. There's always a place around me. So join up some of my communities, the Living Your Light community, New Perspectives on Reality community. These are all places that I've created where people can come and talk and start to share and say, holy frick, I don't know how to exist now. And then you find there's a commonality. I found over 240 people and growing that resonated with my post about how I don't fit in. So that's a whole new community of aware, conscious people that are ready to be those anchors, ready to be those lifeboats, ready to be those lighthouses as reality starts to break down. So everyone's welcome here. Everyone that's ready to make a choice or whatever can come and listen. And ultimately, nobody's forced to do anything, because really we can only do what we're ready for when we're ready. So join up. I'll put the post or the link into those two groups. New Perspectives on Reality is something where I just share seeing the world in a new way, and then you get to make a choice. Does that resonate or not? The Living Your Light community is a bunch of people that are just trying to live loving and happy and positive all the time, and they're all free to enter, and I want as many people in there as possible. Bring your friends, anybody that needs it. We want to start talking about stuff that's gonna make this easy, this transition easy, calm everybody down, get them out of struggle, get them out of fear, get them out of worry, and just say, okay, what needs to happen is happening. Just breathe, eat some good food, and be the lightest light you can be, and help people, reach out, help your neighbor, do favors for people, all this kind of stuff. This is all going to be needed, because as those systems break down, there's going to be a little period where things are mixed up and confused. So stock up on a little bit of food, stock up on a little bit of water, and be there for your neighbors when maybe the lights go out or whatever, but it's all okay. It's all divinely orchestrated, and everything has to be cleaned up. And when some of the weeds are going to get pulled out, some of the connections for all these things to work are going to break for a little while, and then they'll come back with the purification. They'll be unfiltered. We'll be able to go freely. So So that's what light workers are doing right now. And if anybody has any questions or this doesn't make sense to them or whatever, drop me a private message or put something in the bottom of the video here, and let's be the anchors. Let's be the light and hold the ground while it starts to shake so that people know who to come to. And they already know who you are. They're just a little bit confused, but they're going to say, holy frick, we knew something. And then they're going to come and ask questions, and we're going to give them the beautiful answers, the beautiful truths, and we're going to create community around that, and nobody's going to be left behind. So, but we don't have to fix anybody that's not ready, and we don't have to deal with bullshit. If it's going to happen, we just step away. So the screaming man, eventually, if he starts to choke on water instead of drowning us, he's going to start to smarten up a little bit, and some light's going to happen, and then we can reach out our arm and they'll get in, and everything will be good. So you got this. You're amazing people. It hasn't been easy, but we're going to get the whole world through this, and that's what our role is. So, and thank you for the heart there, Lucy. And thank you for all, Robert as well, and for all your comments. I love you all. We got this. It's going to be amazing. Talk to you soon. Love you.